Okay, folks, so I got something a little different to show this time, and by different, I mean different for me, because anybody that has known me for a while knows that I'm not a huge fan of Glocks. But this one has been an exception, so let's just talk about it. So here we have a Glock 47 that I've done quite a few things to. So now the reason why I went with the Glock 47 is because I've been watching Ben Stoeger, and I know he says Staker, but I'm going to say Stoeger, tomato, right? And a lot of his videos recently, he's been talking about how the Glock 47 is the way to go, and how he prefers them over like the 17, the 19, the 34, any other like basically 9mm Glock. He really likes the 47, even over like a 45. And I was like, that's kind of curious why he's saying that, because I was like, well, there can't really be that much difference, right? It's a 17 length barrel with a 19 recoil spring, like, and a 17 frame, essentially. Like, you know, how much different could that be, right? And so I rented one at a local range here, and I found like the shooting experience was actually different enough for me to kind of be like, okay, I understand where he's coming from. And so from that point on, I was like, okay, well, I want to go get one. So the same range actually had a Blue Label program. So of course I didn't pay too much for this 47 here, and I put about let's say 500 rounds through its bone stock before I added all this extra stuff to it. So I did test it with the factory irons. I did actually put this Holosun 507C on there, and I did replace these sights, of course, with some excess sights because stock Glock sights are terrible. So I also put some Talon Grips Pro Grip on here as well, and this is mostly kind of things that Ben Stoeger was talking about and the things that he does with his guns. I also put a grip plug in here as well. You can see right there. I didn't opt to go with the brass one because I wasn't sure if I was going to like that too much. I think at some point probably I'll get a brass one like Ben Stoeger does, but in the meantime this works fine. And I really do actually like how it smooths out the reloads significantly, because if you ever reloaded a Glock pistol like this, and there's just empty space there, sometimes when you go for a reload, you can get caught right back here in the back, and it doesn't like to go in very well. So that little plug there is a nice little addition. It only costs like $10, so totally worth it for an upgrade. Additionally, I've also put a one of those Ghost 3.5 connectors inside here as well. Made the trigger pull a whole lot better. And I gotta say, even for a stock Glock, I mean, the Gen 5 Glocks do have much better triggers than their previous generations, at least from the factory. The 3.5 pound connector in here definitely, I think, made the trigger pull just a little bit better. And it's actually pretty decent to shoot, to be honest. And yeah, it's just the overall shooting experience. Basically, I'll just make it short. The overall shooting experience from the other 9mm Glocks that I fired versus the 47, they're just something like in the sauce, I guess, for 47s that make them shoot just a more pleasantly for me. And I can't quite put my finger on it and exactly what that difference is and why just a simple change, as in having a 19 length spring, makes such a big difference for this. But it really does, honestly. And it's not even so much like buying into exactly what Ben Stoeger is saying and just like following him blindly, like a lot of people like to do. Like, oh well, if the pros do it, then I have to do it, right? I wasn't thinking like that. It's just like, okay, why is he saying those things? Let me try it for myself and see like how it goes. And the shooting experience actually was really good. Honestly, like it was great. And I also tried too these new Mekar steel Glock magazines that they use for the staccato. What's the model name? HD, I think, the new one they came out with. It's a steel Glock magazine, and that's pretty cool. I'll probably talk about these in a separate video because they have their own characteristics. But I did use that in conjunction with this pistol quite a bit, and for the record, I've had no failures at all. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, so no jams, no failures, no malfunctions of any kind with this gun, either in the stock configuration or after I added all the parts and things to it. And I'm going to be honest too, like adding all those modifications and things is not necessary to enjoy this pistol. I think it's totally fine as a stock pistol. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near as nice as like a stock PDP will be. PDPs are definitely like really, really awesome. But, I was just pleasantly surprised. For someone who doesn't like Glocks very much, the stock 47 was just, I don't know, it just kind of did it for me. And I've had a whole heck of a lot of fun shooting this, to be honest. So in kind of testing this out, I did try the different backstrap sizes for this. And ultimately, I just reverted to having no backstrap on it at all. I don't get slide bite from Glocks or really any pistol because that's just not how I shoot. And what I noticed with the extra backstraps that come with this gun is my trigger finger tended to get a little stretched out, I guess, because the length of pull, right, from the back here all the way to the front of the trigger face there. When you add the back straps on there, it lengthens that length of pull. And that was kind of straining my trigger finger just a little bit. I mean, the trigger's not heavy or anything, but after, 150, 200 rounds of just, constantly pulling that all the time, it gets a little tiresome after a while. So I just opted to remove the back straps entirely, and it's been working a lot better for me. So, what else? So it has an MOS plate system. So I have mixed feelings about the MOS system. I'll be honest. So on my 10mm Glock, which also is MOS, I've had no issues with that. But for some reason, this particular MOS on this gun has been mostly terrible. So I had the same optic mounted up here, and when I used the MOS provided plates from Glock, right, came with the gun, my optic just straight up flew off the gun in the first 30 rounds. Like the optic actually hit me in the forehead, and I had like a little welt where it hit me, and that kind of hurt a little bit. And I was like, okay, well, I looked at the problem, and the screws just sheared in the freaking in the holes. So I was like, wow, that's pretty terrible. So I got rid of the MOS plates entirely, said screw that. I'm not using the supplied screws. I'm not using the supplied plates, nothing like that. And I went with a C&H Precision plate here for RMR pattern. And I've had very good luck with C&H Precision because that's what I use on my Walther PDP. And that's also the reason why I went with C&H Precision, is because it worked so well on my PDP. I've had no issues at all with my PDP. Optic doesn't fly off. The screws aren't coming loose, right? Everything is perfect. So I opted for C&H Precision on the Glock. And it has worked absolutely 100% perfectly. Amazing. I use C&H Precision's screws as well to secure the optic and the plate to the gun. I've had absolutely zero issues with it at all whatsoever. So I don't know what it is really with the MOS plates. To me, like the metal they use for that is so, like, you can bend it with your hands. Like, it feels like the kind of metal they use for like Hot Wheels cars. It's like die cast or something. It feels very, very cheap, and it's just weird to me that the MOS would work just fine on my 10mm, but it doesn't work on this 47 9mm. It's just, I don't know what's going on there, but I feel like a lot of people don't really use the stock MOS plates, and after that experience, I will probably not be using them ever again. So it is, of course, a little added expense that you have to do to order a nice plate and good screws and hardware to secure your optic to your gun, but it really is worth the expense because, I mean, if you don't have good quality stuff, your optic's going to fly off the gun and hit you in the face. So yeah, you don't want that. I did replace the sights as well, like I said, with the XS sights because I hate stock Glock sights. I much prefer a like blacked out rear with a fiber optic front. That is my favorite sight picture to have. Now, is that entirely necessary if you have an optic like this? No, but I don't know. Just call me kind of paranoid, I guess. I like having a good set of backup iron sights just in case. Now, I also am not a huge fan of like co-witnessing, so a lot of people like want the really high suppressor height sights, right, to kind of co-witness with their red dot. I don't like that because to me it makes the sight picture just like too busy, and if there's too much going on, it's like if I'm using a dot, it's because I want to see the dot and I want to use the dot. I don't believe in this like, oh, your dot's gonna fail, and then you get you'll have the co-witness, so you still use your irons. I mean, like the way this is set up, I can definitely still use the irons, and if I can't imagine a situation where I would be in a defensive situation where somehow my dot is not working, and oh my god, I can't aim. Like there is shooting techniques that basically, if you're at close enough range, you can kind of use the window anyways in relation to your front sight to find exactly where your point of aim needs to be. But it's like, I don't know, there's too much to the point where you're playing like a what if game, and at what point do you say like, all right, enough's enough, and it's not really that important to me. So, and besides, I don't think I really carry this as a defensive pistol, just because it wouldn't be my first choice, to be honest. So this is going to be mostly like a range toy, So I don't have any illusions about that. So what else? Shooting experience, right? The recoil kind of impulse in the overall feel of a Glock 47 is definitely different from like a 17 or a 19 or even a 45 for that matter. I've shot them all, and again, I don't really know like how to precisely say what about this is so different and why it makes it so special. But there is a special kind of sauce that goes on with this gun that just makes it just super controllable, very fast. Like when I'm trying to practice with my dot here and be very proficient in, on the recoil impulse, bringing it right back down on target and shooting again, right? It just, everything comes together and it just works just perfectly with this setup here. So I don't know what it is, because I don't even like shooting Glocks all that much, and it's working for me, right? So, again, it's just I don't know what they did to make it so good, but it just works, man. It just works. So I will definitely say, in this case, Ben Stoeger definitely knows what he's talking about. Of course he does. He's a professional shooter. But I really wanted to see for myself, and you know what? It works for him, works for me, right? So I am very, very happy with the performance of this gun. And even with the trigger and everything else, and Glocks being what they are, I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to get like super good accuracy out of this gun, because the trigger is kind of, it's a stock Glock trigger for the most part, right? I put the connector in there, but anyway, I did try 25 yards, of course, with the stock, everything stock, and then trying again with the connector, and I was able to get my standard average of 2-inch groups at 25 yards using basic ammo, not even match ammo, and then some match ammo I did use with this is like the Gecko hexagon match. I was able to get a 1.9-inch group at 25 yards, 5 shots, standing, unsupported, with this dot, and that was really impressive. I was very impressed by the levels of tight, consistent accuracy I was able to get with a Glock pistol. That's not very usual for me. So again, more praises for the 47, whatever's in the special sauce to make this as good as it is. It just works, man. It just works. So I'm very pleasantly surprised by how this has performed for me, and this will be a staple in my arsenal for sure. And people who want to get like a good Glock experience and like what Glocks can be, I think a 47 is definitely up there in terms of like, hey, this is pretty nice. It's pretty good. So with the 47s existing how they are, though, I don't really see a point for the 17s to exist, and Glock seems to agree with that because they've discontinued the 17s. So that's pretty cool. I just hope that the aftermarket will of course catch up, and they will offer 47 threaded barrels and things like that, because I think it'd be kind of cool to put a suppressor on this at some point. But yeah, I do like the fact that Glocks are as modular as they are, and I've been able to do as many things to this as I have. But as far as like the actual trigger and like recoil system and everything else, I don't really think you need to change too much out of this, to be honest. But everyone has their preferences, of course, and everyone's going to set their Glock up differently. But I think for me, honestly, this is totally fine. And again, I mentioned this earlier in the video that a stock 47 by itself is not bad at all. It's just the small little upgrades I made to this that don't cost a whole lot. I mean, the connector was like what, $10. The butt plug there, was $10. The Talon grips I think was like $25 or something like that. I think the most expensive part was probably the sights and the C&H plate, right? Things like that. But yeah, Glock has definitely done something special with the 47, and I've just been enjoying the heck out of this gun. I can be very fast with this. get some pretty good accuracy, and everything about it just kind of feels right, which is me singing high praises about a Glock. It's very unusual for me to do that. So again, I really don't know why these are so special, but man, it has just been working great. So anyway, so with that, I'm probably going to use this maybe a little bit more with like a test bed, I guess, for like RMR type optics and things, and maybe just try out the irons every once in a while, just to mess around with it, or maybe try one of those fancy Glock performance triggers in this, just to see how it is, And of course, it has been a pretty good test bed for the Metgar metal Glock mags. So yeah, I would not hesitate to carry this as a duty sidearm, of course, but I think for me personally, I have so many other better options for me personally, like an HKP 30 or something like that. But for what it is, this is a perfectly acceptable sidearm in pretty much every single way. I don't really think you can go wrong with a 47 at all. And it is pretty cool too that if you really want to, if you have a Glock 19 Gen 5, you can swap all the components and make any kind of configuration you want. You can make a 45, you can make whatever 49 I think is the 19 frame with the long slide. You can make all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. I like pistol modularity, and there's a whole story behind that too. I like the 320s. Well, I did like the 320s until all that SIG stuff happened. But anyway, it's pretty cool that they have evolved to something like this, and I do like the fact too that aftermarket support for these things is absolutely enormous, of course, because it's Glock and there's like 1,000,000,001 parts for these things. So maybe at some point too, I'll try out one of those Glock store, the big tungsten heavy guide rods that they have, and just try that out and see how it goes, and maybe make this thing an even smoother shooter, or try some ridiculous compensator on the front of here or something like that. It's Glocks are a fun gun to mess around with, modify, try different parts. Just mess around and do whatever you want, and see what you can do with it, right? And this is absolutely no exception. So, yeah, very very pleasantly surprised by the 47. I really like it. This model in particular stands out to me among the others, because I've shot a 45, it was okay. Shot a 19, didn't like it too much. Shot a 17, also didn't like it too much. I mean, my my nightstand gun by my bed is a Glock 22, which I have a 17 conversion barrel in it, right? So it's basically a 17, but honestly, I really don't enjoy shooting that gun very much, But then, you stack up a 47 next to it, and it's the same exact size, and it's why is it so different, But it is. It definitely is. So, yeah, I mean, this is I think a perfect example of let's say somebody just wanted to get one pistol for a do-it-all kind of pistol. I think a 47 would be an excellent choice. So, but anyway, yeah, I figured I'd bring that to you guys, and it's again, Glocks aren't really my thing, but this one has stood out, exceptionally. So I'm very very happy with it, and it was a great purchase, and I look forward to putting many more thousands of rounds through this thing. I think I have probably 1,200 rounds through this now, that's a lot for the short amount of time that I've owned it so far. But yeah, it's pretty good, and I totally understand where Ben Stoeger is coming from, and I agree with him on this point. So yeah, again, I will probably do a separate video on these metal Metgar magazines, because they do warrant talking about and having a bit of a review, just like I talked about the Magpul Glock magazines and why I think they're not as great. There's just things that need to be mentioned when you change up the factory Glock magazines, right? So this is no exception. So, but anyway, that'll be for a separate video. So yeah, if you guys got 47s, I mean, you guys probably have the same experience that I do. These things are just good. So yeah, all right, that's all I gotta say about that, and we'll see you next time.